Hello everybody, this is the Starving Martian, and today we are going to be taking a look at the worm guys from Men in Black. These were some of the most popular of the side characters, the alien characters in the original movie. So much so that they carried over into the cartoon series and had an expanded role in the sequel. And so it seems natural that they received action figures of their own, and their action figures come in the form of these bendable characters. We've taken a look at one of the Men in Black bendable aliens before, being Reggie Jr. here. So you can take a look at his review if you want. It'll be under my Men in Black playlist. But um, but these guys here, the worm guys. Now I mentioned in that review that I'm not usually a big fan of bendable figures. I don't like the wires inside. I had enough when I was a kid that the wires broke and popped up through the arms, and it was just it was a mess. It was horrible. I much prefer a standard plastic figure with the joints stuck in, and with the average posability, this and that. But what are you gonna do? For the Men in Black toy line, there was the standard action figures, a couple different versions of J and K, and then there was a few different Edgar figures. But if you wanted more aliens than that, and why wouldn't you? There was this line of bendable aliens on a slightly cheaper price scale. So it was a good thing. Expand your collection, have more for your Men in Black to deal with. So here we have Nebel and Gleeble. These are two of the four worm guys shown in the first movie. They hang around the coffee area, and they are the aliens that really convince Agent J that the Man in Black is serious, something to be considered for him. And so, they're a bit rude and crude, and they smoke and they drink coffee, and they're womanizers, and that's why we love them as much as we do. So let's take a look at the back of their box. And all these bendable figures have the same kind of picture of the rest of them. A little blurb about the MIB, a fact file on this particular alien set, and Men in Black ID card you could cut out, paste your own picture on, which is pretty cool. So we see here, according to their fact file, that their name is Nebel and Gleeble. They're bipedal, rigid, annelid worm aliens. Annelid is their official species name. And all worm aliens are friendly but love to play practical jokes. This may be a sign of affection on their home planet. By drives? Oh, by drives. It should be butt drives, but they put a typo here. But drives all MIB agents crazy. Worms came to Earth in search of caffeine and illegal substance back home and frequently get torqued up on high-priced cappuccino. Their love of coffee spawned their greatest invention, non-dairy creamer. Worms also are considered alien slackers whose main function seems to be hanging around coffee clutches and water fountains while making prank phone calls. So that's the worm guys according to the back of their box here. As you can see, there's only two of them here, but that's Nebel and Gleeble. There's also this two-pack featuring Sleeble and another alien called Mavis or Mavis 13. Mavis 13 is a smaller cloned version of Mavis 12. And in the movie Mavis 13, this little guy is actually played by the same actor who plays Mini-Me in the second Austin Powers movie, although somewhat unrecognizable. And so let's get these guys cracked open, free them from their plastic prisons. And see what we're talking about here, what we're looking at. Now, first of all, let's get Mavis 13 out of the way because it's a worm guy video, so we're just going to take a quick look at him. Alright, he's got your standard bendable points. And there we go. But because I don't know if it's the way the plastic is molded or the fact that he's been in there for years, but his arms don't really want to go out too much further than that, but you get the general idea. He actually stands pretty well, something we can't say for the worm guys. As you'll see in a second. Here's Sleeble. And I suppose with a lot of work and trial and error you could get him to stand, but I'm not going to be bothered. We'll just be leaning them against the background. But detail-wise, he's pretty good. He's got expression in his face. He's got, if you bend him up here, you can see he's got a row of tiny little arms here, which they do actually have in the movie. In the cartoon, I think they got rid of some of their arms. But he's very bendable, very flexible. You could make him pat his head and rub his belly at the same time. And even though I am not big on bendable figures, it does seem to work for the worm guys, being as, pliable as they are. So you could get him into all sorts of weird positions here. And so let's free his brothers, Neeble and Gleeble. I do like these boxes just open right up. Okay, so here's one of them. You could differentiate this guy because he's carrying a cup of joe. And I'll leave it to you to decide if you want him to be Gleeble or Neeble. The back of the box doesn't really specify. And here's the other one, exactly the same as Sleeble. So only this guy with a coffee cup is any different than his brothers. And as soon as you put them together, you forget which one came from which box, and they're all worm guys anyway, so it doesn't matter. As I mentioned, in the movie, there's actually 4 of them. But the seller who sold me this pack was kind enough to actually include the 1 double pack, Neeble and Gleeble, and 2 packs of the Sleeble and Mavis. So I actually have all 4 worm guys. And here they are, having their eternal coffee break. And now you have no idea which one is which. Now, which one of y'all is Neeble? Line from Men in Black 2. Not the best movie in the world, but still entertaining in its own right. And the worm guys in that movie get to play Twister with a character named Laura, I believe, and lucky them. Okay, now as far as complaints go, as I said, being bendables, it's hard to get them all to stand, or any of them to stand. They're far too yellow. They're very bright, and I don't know why. The coloring is off. And also, let me bring out one of the J figures here. This guy is one of the few who can stand on his own, and you can see that they are way too tall to really fit in with this toy line. Oops. So they're about the same size as Jay here, and they're hunched over. Now if we take and straighten him out, he's actually a hair taller than Jay, which is just wrong. But again, being bendable figures, if you made them much smaller, I don't know if you'd be able to really get any of this bendability going for them. But if you take them outside of the other Men in Black figures, I think they look great just as a group here. Just having a whole bunch of worm guys in one setting is pretty cool. As far as price goes, the 2-pack usually sells for around $10 plus shipping, and the single pack with Sleeble and Mavis tends to run about $5 plus shipping. The seller I found on eBay actually sold me all these guys for $15 flat, and shipping included, so I got a bit of a deal there. In case you're curious about their names, Sleeble and Gleeble and Neeble, we all know. Gleeble is sometimes, I've seen it also spelled without the G as Geeble. And the fourth worm guy, the fourth worm brother, is named Mannix. So Sleeble, Gleeble, Neeble, and Mannix. And again, I'll let you decide who's who. But that's about all I have to say about these guys. They're pretty fun. They make a nice display. The coloring's a little off, but for that they do what they're supposed to do. I do quite like them. So guys, this has been the Starving Martian with just a quick look at the Men in Black worm guys. We'll catch up with you later or something else. Until then, keep watching the skies.